Hello everyone. We're just waiting now for the start. Let me just turn on my mic because there should be no background sound. Let me just make sure everything's okay. Should probably have done this before, but it's okay. It's all good. Okay. Now we just will wait. Hopefully many people can join us for tonight's stream. Okay, as we just now wait, we've got 2.5 about minutes until it's ready up time for the Division Australia race. Nope, let's not do that. As we wait everyone, we will have a 20 driver grid, which is always great. We will be getting underway in just under a minute's time, just waiting for the ready up signal from the lobby host. And then it's go time. Rishi in the comments says Aston Martin on top, definitely. I'll try not to have a biased standpoint, obviously it is part of my championship as well. And we get that ready up message now, so we will be getting underway in a matter of 20 seconds. Hello guys, welcome to Pro Am Formula Racing for round 4 in the Australian Sprint Division, hosted on this Thursday evening. I'm Ventani and filling in the spot as the man in the booth for this round. Today's round is around the Catalunya circuit located on the eastern coast of Spain near Barcelona. This track's 16 corners make up the 4.6 kilometers of the track, with 9 to the right and 7 to the left. Quite an all-round circuit with low, medium and high speed corners around the track, showing drivers have to be an all-round skill set to be quick around this track. A highlighted last chicane is one of the trickiest parts of the circuit, where the curb is inviting yet so costly if you take it wrong. Heading into this championship round, Jays in the Williams leads on 34 points over Luke, who is only 8 points behind. With a good result could take advantage of the missing Jays and end up leading into the first break of the season, as qualifying has just gotten underway. We're going to wait for the first drivers to come out. It will be someone probably towards the end of the grid, so we're looking at the Williams, Alpha and Haas garages as of the moment. Gonna just make sure all the heads up display is on. And we do have a car leaving the pit lane. I'll get confirmation of who that is. It is Vertex. Vertex in the Alpha Tauri, who's doing pretty well for himself, I believe, in this championship. He's currently P8 on a matter of 9 points, so very good start to the season for him. Number 97, he's out on the hard compound tyre and got a reasonable gap to the car behind of Racing Upter. Racing Upter having form on his side over Pro Am Formula Racing. If anyone was watching the Division 1, he came in P3 or 4, I believe P4 there, so seeing if he can carry that momentum from the weekend into this race. Spain, definitely a tricky circuit to get right. As I was saying before, it's a all-round circuit. You have to be good in most areas to have a good lap, and we're looking around the high to mid 15s for pole as the track ramps up. But we're going to have Vertex coming around the final chicane now to start his lap. He's going to swing the DRS wide open on the exit of that corner. We're going to ride on board. Going into turn 1, this looks like a bit of traffic. It stays out of the way. You're going to want to brake around 75 meters to the 50 meter. Make sure not to take too much curb on either one of those corners, as you just saw. That is the result. It will be either that or a invalidation. So we're going to ride on board with Racing Up to now. Almost gets hit by Vertex on the way through. Now coming into turn 4, the long right-hander that never seems to end, and to the downhill right-hander of 5, where you can get on the power a bit earlier, as the wind behind you is going to carry that traction. Now for the uphill of 7 and the quick right of 8. Now to turn 9, the long right-hander that very easy to go wide and end up invalidating. Now for turn 10, very tight, obviously not the same as what it is in real life. It would carry around that outside of the circuit. Racing up to, there's mayhem in turn 12 there. Luckily no one hampers with Racing up to's lap. It's seeming very solid. He's on the mediums. Coming through the final chicane now, Goodwill's been disqualified. I will get confirmation of what happened there, but Racing up to around the final corner, DRS wide open. It is going to be a 1:17.3 for him, so a pretty decent banker, especially for those medium compound tyres, and that's going to boost his confidence going into the rest of the session. Racing up there, it will. We're going to have a look now as Havina goes with a 1:17.5, and we're going to look at PAFR Luke, the man who could take the lead if he gets a good race, and he sets a 1:16.7 to go provisional pole by 5 tenths now. So extremely good lap from Luke, and his teammate slots into second just above Racing Opta with a 117.362. Now look, as times are just being set by the field, we got Rishi in P4 now with a 117.4, and Vintage Grizz just sets a 117.7 on those medium compound tyres. Gonna have a look who is on mediums, who is on softs. It looks like Boss Gohan is the last of those medium runners. We've already got 2 people out. Street Isaac, I don't know if that was a DNF or if that was a disqualification. We've already had a disqualification. I don't think that was, because it does not say DSQ next to Isaac's name. Boss Gohan on the mediums goes to 118.1. So pretty decent from him. Happy Kilmore Ryan is 117.6, slots into P6 in that Alpine car just behind Havina, who is reserving. Even though he is a well-known name, he is one of the Europeans, so he will not be a regular feature of these races. We're gonna have a look now. One of the Aston Martins crossing the line. Looks like Rishi. He goes for a second lap and he doesn't improve, so that is going to be it for his first run. Tyre wear can be a problem around Spain if you're not careful. And he goes for a spin around, so he's going to definitely hope to improve, because those tyres will definitely be dead if he continues on them. Who's that gone by? It's DTS Kwan, who's had a pretty good, pretty decent start to the to his campaign in the Ferrari. He's currently sitting in P10, so top 10. It is still very good for the first 3 rounds to be inside that top 10. We've got 7 points on the board, so if he even has a top 3, that could boost him in this race. So it's very close for the top 10, or at least from about 4th down to 10th, all separated by 11 points there. So going to be very interesting to see how that pans out over the race, see how the grid really mixes up after this race, with a bunch of the top guys not racing, one being myself, the other being Kavudi and Jay's, our championship leader, all not racing for our own reasons. And we're going to have a look now who is on a lap. Chromad, he comes across the line to put a 17.8 on the board. That puts him up into now P8, going up 2 positions from where he was in P10 before. As Bosco Hen's still on those medium compound tyres, I reckon he will be coming in. A little lock up there going into the chicane. He isn't, so he's just seeing what the pace is like on those medium compound tyres for the start of this session. 10 minutes remaining now. He actually sets a faster lap with a 117.4. Those medium compound tyres will be dead, but that's showing early signs for Boss Gohan. Can he convert that pace onto softs, maybe putting in a time around 16.5 where Luke is? Gonna have a look now back down, see who is on a lap. Is John Ferns on a lap? It doesn't seem like it. No, he's peeling into the pit lane now. We've got Lee in the Alpine. He's currently sitting P12, the 136.4, so he's not set a competitive lap time right now. Definitely either had a spin or just backed off, as there's an Alpha Tauri coming up. Let's see if he stays out of the way. He does. Boss Gohan out of the way, so very good sportsmanship from there. DRS wide open, coming into the run of turn 10. Very tight left-hander this used to be and still is on this game. Now for the uphill chicane of 11 and 12, very easy to lose the rear end, especially through turn 11. Now to turn 14 and 15. Takes it very nicely indeed through there, and for now the final 16th corner is going to be on 117.4, good enough for 6th position, just behind Rishi, and racing up to now sets the fastest lap of the race. I mean, not the race, the qualifying session, with a 116.3 4/10 quicker than it was to Luke. And Fletch is now in P3 with a 1:17.3. So 2 drivers outside the 17s as of right now. And racing up to is the one that leads the pack, going into the second runs of the session. Having a look down the order now, we've got Fudge Cake in the Williams. He's on a in lap, it seems like, 1:19.6 for him. That's good enough for 14th position. Maxi Rob is out there, and he's on an invalidated lap time, so not great for him. He's set a 1:45, so he's going to want to improve on that desperately. Going to probably pit and put on a new compound of tyres. That, or he will continue on those softs if he's nurtured them enough on this, what we'll call second out lap. We're gonna ride on board with Maxi Rob. Let's see what he can do. He's currently P4 in the standings. No, P5 in the standings. 14 points, just behind Aaron. And let's see what he can do. He got a P5 last race out in Portugal, so he's definitely carrying momentum. Now going into turn 1, there's 2 cars on the inside there. It doesn't seem like it will affect him. Going into turn 1, let's see how much Kirby takes. Not a lot, but it means he's going to take a lot for turn 2. Doesn't spin, thankfully. And through the long turn 3, he doesn't go nearly as wide as what he could have done. With no brake markers there, could that affect him? No, it doesn't. He seems like he gets a good exit out of turn 4. And now for the downhill turn right, turn 5, left turn. Down in the flat out 6th, and for the uphill chicane 7 and 8, leading into the quick right hander of 9. He gets a little bit wayward on exit there, but it seems like it will be okay, and he carries the momentum down into turn 10 and now to turn 11. Quickly switching back for turn 12, the right hander, and now for 13. It's looking like a very decent lap from Maxi Rob right now. Hasn't invalidated as of yet. Misses the curb there, but maybe takes a bit of power off as more than what he needs to do. Coming up to the line, it's a 1:17.5. That's good enough for 11th only. So up the top, Vintage, Grizz and Aaron have both set times inside the 17s now to boost them to P3 and P4. Happy Kilmore goes P5 ahead of Rishi, and Fletch, who's dropped down a bit, only set the 1 competitive lap time so far. Look now, Crowman is on the infield as he just lets Vertex go. Vertex, spinning earlier on in the session, the first person to that was going to set a lap time. He goes a bit wide through turn 14, but cuts it back for turn 15. Good run through there. Now out of 16. DRS wide open. What can he do across the line? So 1:17.5. That's P12 now. So only up 1 position on those 2-lap old soft compound tyres. Have a look now. Boss Gohan getting ready for his lap. The Alpha Tauri driver. See what he can do. Coming through turn 2, he invalidates, and there's a spinning McLaren off there of John Fans. So let's hope his tyres aren't too cooked from that. Let's see if he can continue on maybe another lap, or if he has to peel into the pits. So Boss Gohan going to be definitely disappointed with invalidating there. He's sitting on the top 10, brisk, so he's going to want to improve, make sure that he's safely into that top, I'd say 6. You want to be on the front 3 rows here at Spain, as it's quite a short run down into turn 1 where the grid will set itself. So we have PAFR Luke now on a lap, so it's a purple first sector, 2/10 up on his time. Coming through turn 5 now, cuts back very nicely. Now turn 6 and quickly to 7. He doesn't lose it, and he takes an optimum line through 8, and now to 9. Very nice XND, doesn't get wayward whatsoever. Now coming down into turn 10. Seemed like he lost a little bit on exit there, now through turn 12. What can he do? We can't see him in frame yet, but he comes up the crest, and it seems like a very good lap. I didn't see the sector split there, but I believe it was more of an improvement than it was 2/10. And now through the final corner, let's see what he can do. Can he beat the 16.3 currently set by racing up to go onto provisional pole? He can't, by a matter of 7 milliseconds. He is currently in P2, so I don't know. He is not going to go for a second push lap here. He's going to want to save those tyres. He's already done 2 on that lap, on that set, and I don't think it's enough time for him to come into the pit and put on a fresh soft if he has another set of tyres. Currently Aaron coming out of the pits now, so we're going to have a look, and Vintage Grizz getting ready to come out, it looks like, in his garage. TTS Quan now P5, so very good lap from him, 117.1. Just on that brink of the 16s, we got yellow flag in sector 1, turn 1's mayhem. People just having to get out left, right and centre. Can have a look on Aaron's onboard, see what's the congestion all about. We've got a wide Williams, fudge cake, and there's a Haas of Havina in front of him. So everyone just making sure they get out of the way of each other. 5-place grid penalty for fudge cake for collision with Havina. I don't think that was purposeful, as we just saw on Aaron's onboard. They were just getting out of the way of other drivers, and I think they've once just accidentally brake checked. I reckon Havina's accidentally brake checked because he was in front. Sadly, nothing we can do about that for fudge cakes. He's in P16, so that will be a back of the grid start for him. PFR Luke goes into the pits with all the yellow flags. It seems like a minute 50 left, so he will definitely not be out for the rest of this session. P2 is his best. Fletch sets a 16.9 to now become the 5th driver inside the 17s. Very close between 3rd and 5th, separated by 1/10 of a second. No, 1/100th of a second, sorry. And we've still got racing up to and PAFR Aaron on laps now, racing up to just into turn 3 now, but we're going to go on board with Aaron. Let's see what he can do. He's currently P4 in the standings, and he invalidates. So that's it for Aaron. That's it for Aaron, unless he can get around, and I don't think he can with just over a minute. Racing up to also gets blocked by up guys, all with their laps hampered for one reason or another. They will not get around for a second lap, so that is it for them. Happy Kilmore now goes P3 Ryan, that is 1:16.7. he's just ahead of Fletch. Jake retires, he's in P19, he's off. I reckon that's a mistake from him, as his teammate is having all sorts of problems through that final chicane. But we've got Vintage Grizz now, P6 currently. He's on a fast lap, and probably the only one out of those top guys to be on a fast lap right now. It seems very decent so far from the Mercedes driver. What can he do? Through turn 9 he sets, let's see what he can do through the sector 2 split. He's 2.5 tenths up. That will put him P3. Can he put himself onto that second row of the grid? Now through turn 12 he doesn't mess up. He takes that double apex very nicely. Now through turn 13, gets a bit over the curb, maybe losing a bit of pace, and goes extremely wide into turn 14, hampering his run out of 15 and now 16. What will it be? Will that mistake prove very costly? And it does. He goes 2/10 slower, and that is now P6 for him. We've got Happy Kilmore on a slower lap, and racing up that actually did manage to get around for a second lap. Only just. Gonna have a look now. What can the provisional pole sitter, and what I believe will be our pole sitter set, can he improve? Coming to the end of sector 2 now. He's 2/10 up, so could we see a 1:15 in this session, showing his real dominance in the Haas? I said he would be carrying momentum from that Portugal race in Division 1, but how much momentum can he carry? And going into the race, how much confidence will he have? As Boss Gohan now into P4. 1:16.7. So he's on the second row of the grid in the AlphaTauri. What can Racing Up to do coming across the lines? 1:16.2, only improving by a tenth of a second exactly. But very good nonetheless, and that is your pole sister, Racing Up to the Haas. Very good performance from him, and PFR Luke joins him on the front row there. Happy Kilmore in the Alpine settles for P3 with Bosco Hand with an amazing lap in the final seconds to go P4. Fletcher in the McLaren and Aaron in the Red Bull settle for the third row of the grid, and we got Vintage Grizz and Mercedes, and Chromad, the first of the Aston Martins, at the back of row 4. We got DTS Kwan in the Ferrari and Havina, the European, in the Haas, rounding off the top 10. We've got Lee and Rishi on the 6th row of the grid. Maxi, Rob and Vertex occupying the 7th. John Fans in the McLaren settles for P15. Fudgecake with a 5-place grid penalty, he'll start from the back, is the Williams, and he's in 16th. We've got Ramsey, Isaac and Jake and Goodwill, who got disqualified early on, rounding off the grid. So that would be it for qualifying in this Division AU. We're settled for now 17 laps of racing. We're going to have to wait on the grid, obviously, as we let people do their setups, adjust fuel loads, adjust strategies, just see what the best is, and I'll join you when that happens, when the ready up message is given. As we now get the ready up signal, we'll be starting in 20 seconds for the formation lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, and the last before the break in the season, the first one after round 4, that is. This race, many of these will be going on to race in Sunday divisions, whether that's Div 1, Div 2. You can follow those along when they come out. One will be on my channel for Div 1, and we're getting ready for the formation lap now. Predicted pit stops strategy, it's a one stop either way, whether that's on the hards or the mediums. Most of these top 10 guys will definitely be going for the mediums if they can stretch it. The back guys definitely going for mediums, so it's between the top guys if they can stretch it on the mediums, or if they have to go to the hards, depending on how early those soft compound tyres degrade. Gonna have a look at the tyre compound now. All the top 12 on soft compound tyres, with Maxi, Rob, Vertex and Isaac the only guys on mediums, the rest on softs. And could that be because most of the outside top 10, so from 11th down to 20th, are expecting a early safety car, which very well is a possibility here in Spain. That the first corner just seems to very much narrow on exit. Obviously there is a lot of runoff, but it is very slippery on there, and with most of these guys on either medium or no traction control, could that possibly see some spins and maybe even a few DNFs? Hopefully not, but gonna have a look now as we're coming through the final sector. We got a spinning Williams behind of Jake. Just seems to be getting onto the circuit now. I know he's been disqualified for contact. So we'll now wait for the guys at the back to be coming up. Goodwill taking it very slowly. Not good sportsmanship indeed. I don't know if there'll be any kind of penalty for him, as it doesn't exactly affect the other guys, just kind of makes them wait at the front of the grid. But we will have to wait for Goodwill to line up onto the grid before the race can start coming around the final corner as of right now. And he'll be just coming up to start on the grid as now. We're going to look towards the front of the grid. Racing up top on the left hand side, PFR Luke on the left. He doesn't exactly need the win to take the championship lead, but he'll definitely want the win anyway, make it back to back after winning in Portugal. We're going to head now to the lights. We've now got Reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. We're underway. It looks like a great start for Luke. He's already alongside and he's ahead going into turn 1. There's already collision behind a Haas, getting caught up with an Aston Martin there. Don't exactly know who that was. Looks like PFR Luke miles ahead going into turn 1. Aaron almost on the inside and actually losing it. And there's a spinning McLaren and AlphaTauri in the distance there. Luke already got a very good lead coming into turn 4 now, where Rosberg and Hamilton famously crashed. I don't think there'll be anyone that crashes like that today. We've got racing uptown. Bosco Hen now up into P3 after an amazing start versus Happy Kilmore. Fletcher in P5 with Rishi and Cromad, the two Aston Martins, in 6th and 7th. Aaron, as I said before, he just seemed to get pinched on the inside of turn 1 and lost many positions there. Vintage Grid is P9 and Lee is P10 to round off your grid. Coming to running off the top 10, we've got John Fans behind. So he's spun. He's lost a bit of his front wing, so I don't think he'll be staying. I reckon he'll pit. We got congestion towards the back of the two Ferraris, and it looks like Havina is going slowly towards the back there, whether that was just a back end loss or he's actually got front wing damage. But at the end of lap 1, Luke already has a second lead on Racing Upta. Cam Racing closed that in before the third lap to get into DRS and maybe put up a fight to Luke. Luke getting what was definitely an amazing start. He got the launch perfect compared to his competitors and just stormed away the first lap, carrying grip on those soft compound tyres throughout the entire lap. We've got many people into the pits. It seems like 6 people, that is. No, 5 people, that is, sorry, into the pit lane. An Alfa Romeo, a Ferrari of DTS Kwan. Goodwill, after looking like he got an amazing start, had to change his front wing, sadly. DTS Kwan in the Ferrari, Fudgecake, Havina, and John Fans, who we did see have front wing damage. All the pit stop runners and people, unless there's a safety car, potentially out of this race, definitely for points. But we've got Luke still pulling away, 3/10 now on this lap. 2 racing up to us. We're now heading on to the third lap. DRS will be enabled, so if you're within a second of the car ahead, you will get DRS, which is a drag reduction system, allowing you to go up to about 10 miles an hour quicker. And PFR Luke going into turn 1, 1.5 seconds is the gap to the Haas of Racing up to behind. We've got a battle, a train, I should say, sorry, in the mid-pack from Bosco Han down to Rishi all within a second, so they'll all get DRS on the 2 straights available. We've got Fudgecake in the back. Is that just a spin? It seems like he is. Has he got front wing damage again? Well, compound tyres are on his car, so he's going to make it to the end. Seems like he hasn't got front wing damage. But looking towards, we've got the Ferrari and Alfa Romeo side by side. DTS Kwan swiftly getting past Goodwill. But getting very wayward through turn 2 there, now through turn 3. Can that affect him? It doesn't seem like it. Just Ramsey spinning on the exit of turn 4 there on the mini-map. Goodwill, he goes extremely wide and backed off, and I think that's the battle done there. And just having a look what happened to Jess Ramsey. He's got no front wing. So as he hit the barrier, as he hit someone else, we'll have to wait and... I mean, I don't think we'll wait and see, but... definitely mysteries there. We've got already a 3-second penalty for Vintage Grizz for multiple warnings of track limits. Gonna have a look, can anyone be making a overtake in this mid-pack train of 4 cars? Doesn't seem like it. Racing Up to actually close the gap now on this lap. 1.2 is the gap. We've now got Fletch, we're running on board with in the McLaren in the middle of this train from Boscohan down to Rishi. He's set behind Ryan, also known as Happy Kilmore. This train probably happy to just sit in DRS, trying to catch up to the 2 guys ahead. The 2 seconds is already a gap there. We've got Vintage Grizz spun around. Is that on exit? It's very hard to get a grip through there. We're going to have a look now. He's got no front wing. And Jake is also off. So could there have been collision between Jake and Vintage Grizz? I know, but it's left Vintage Grizz with no front wing. So he'll have to come into the pit. And that's gone his chances. Jake spinning again. So that those tyres extremely hot for him. Bosco hand in the pits for an early stop, I would say. Has he got damage? Gonna have a look now. Has he got damage? It didn't look like he was on board with anyone. It's an early stop for him, so he's gonna try the undercut. We'll see how that goes for him. Can he close the gap on Racing Up to and Luke at the top and make it a 3-way battle for what will be the lead of the race? Now got Racing Up to almost within a second. Gets a bit of a bad exit there, and it goes to 1.2, no, 1.1 now. In the Haas, just following Luke. He doesn't seem to be getting the best exits. Maybe his tyres are degrading that slightly a bit quicker. He got a lot of grip through that fast right-hander of turn 9. What will the gap be going into turn 16 where the DRS detection zone is? Could it be under a second, allowing Racing Up to close that gap significantly down the main straight to Luke? Have a look. It's on the brink of 1 second exactly on the exit now. What is it going to be? He actually dives into the pit, so he's going to make an earlier stop, maybe reacting to Boscohan a little bit. But he's going to make now a earlier pit stop. Fletch as well coming into the pits after only 5 laps on those softs. That promotes Rishi and Chromad, the 2 Aston Martins, into 3 and 4. We've got Jake retired on track. I'm going to have a look now. Vintage Grizz, is that because of... It seems like he's losing. He has lost the wheel. Vintage Grizz getting kind of screwed. I don't know if there was collision between him and Jake. It did kind of seem like it. They were both off at the same corner. But we're going to have a look. What can Boscohan do? What is the gap to Racing Up to? It's 1.8. So he's closed it by about half a second. So could that be the same for Racing Up to? Could this mean he gets within that 1 second gap that he needs of PAFR Luke coming around the final sector now, coming through up to turn 13 and to the final chicane now. Will he peel into the pits? He does. He peels into the pits. So we're going to have a look now. What can the gap be to him and Racing Up to? When Luke peels out of the pits, we've also got Happy Kilmore and Rishi and Chromad, the 2 Aston Martins, not coordinating when they're coming for a stop. They've ended up going to have to double stack. So that's definitely not going to help Shane in the Aston Martin, his campaign to get points. What can Racing Up to do against Luke? It seems like Luke peels out of the pits now, and I think he'll retain the lead. but by how much? It's under a second. And it looks like he's right on the back there. And there's, who is that? That's Street Isaac. That's Isaac off at turn 2 on the exit there. What can Racing Up to do? He's going to get DRS down the back straight of between turn 9 and 10. They're coming up to people that haven't pit yet. Maxi, Rob, Vertex and Lee, who currently leads. That will drop down as soon as he makes a pit stop. But for now, he is your leader. On the soft compound tyres, I reckon he will be pitting this lap because those softs will be absolutely crying. We've got Fletch behind. Fletch is round behind. We're going to have a quick look back. And Cromad is out. Cromad has just made contact of Fletch as I've switched off. And Shane is now out. And I think that's a safety car. That's a safety car for this race. Could that mean Lee? Will Lee be benefited as much from this as I might think? Could this mean a top 5 for him? Looking at how congested that top, those guys are, I don't think it will be. But PFR Luke will take the lead, and that's helped PFR Luke so much. The safety car, under threat by Racing Up to, would have had DRS on the main straight closing in. This could just mean he builds that gap out to Racing Up to before 3 laps after the safety car. 10 laps remaining in this sprint race. Luke coming up to the safety car now. Bosco Hen, P3, after making a early pit stop compared to his competitors. He tried the undercut. It didn't exactly turn out the way that he was probably hoping, but it wasn't the end of the world as he didn't even lose a position. Happy Kilmore is in P4 with Rishi rounding off the top 5. Lee, after staying out on those soft compound tyres, maybe an extra lap because of Happy Kilmore, ends up in P6 now ahead of Aaron, who is just trying to make up for that start that he had. Hopefully maybe this could help him with the pack so congested after the safety car, and maybe getting him into DRS and onto the back of this front train. Vertex P8 in on fresh softs in that AlphaTauri. Could that mean he jumps Aaron off the start with more grip? And Maxi Rob the same as him, but in the Ferrari of P9. Fletch after a spin and what I think could be contact with Cromad, also known as Shane, causing him to be out of the race, and the ultimate effect of this safety car. He runs off the top 10. We then got DTS Kwan, who pit towards the who pit on lap 1, one of the 5 due to front wing damage, and Goodwill being the same as him after starting P19. We've got Isaac after a spin at turn 2 and off the track adventure, it seemed like, through the gravel for him, in P13 with his teammate directly behind P14 after spinning. Havina P15 after being one of those having to come in at the end of lap 1, and it seems like so is Jump Fans. They will pit again after pitting towards the front, towards the first laps of this Grand Prix. Buzzer now, I think maybe safety car will be in this lap, leaving 8 laps of racing for the end. 5 laps of no, 6 laps, sorry, of DRS. So could this mean Racing Up to can stay behind close enough to Luke to get that DRS? Does this mean PFR Luke, with the 3 laps or the 2 laps that he has to build a gap, mean that he can get out of that 1 second and comfortably come to the line? We're going to find out. The safety car is in this lap, as I thought we'll get racing underway at the start of lap 10. Medium tyres for the top 7, Vertex and Maxi Rob, the only guys in the top 10 to be on fresh, some soft compound tyres. coming around the final couple corners. PFR Luke is just backing up the pack, letting the safety car come in. Luke finally goes on the exit of 16. There's front wing loss, and there's a Ferrari in the wall. Could that mean another safety car? I don't think so, but it was Maxi Robb. He's in the wall. He hasn't gotten out, but as I'm looking, racing up to almost going up the inside of PFR Luke into turn 1. He doesn't seem to make it stick though. Luke cuts him off and closes the door. And PFR Aaron, an amazing start, already up to P5. We've got more spins behind Fudge Cake and John Fans towards the back of the grid. So Aaron already up to P5 after a starting P7 off the start, making a great start, and as I said, up 2 positions, almost a second gap already for PFR Luke after an early look up the inside for racing up there, but just not getting the grip. And there's Goodwill. That's Goodwill out of the race near turn 8. I think he's just lost grip there. Gonna maybe look what has happened. Yeah, he's just lost grip and gone rear end into the wall. No safety car though, and it seems like Luke has got that second already. He's got an extra lap of safety anyway before DRS is enabled on lap 12. But what can racing up to do? He pulls out of the slipstream from Boscohan behind, who's only 5/10 behind racing up to. Can he stay within that DRS, put on a fight for P2 with Happy Kilmore, Aaron, Vertex and Lee all within DRS of each other? Vertex actually just slightly going out of Aaron. He needs a good lap here to make sure he can stay within that DRS. We've got Jake in the chat saying Grizz and Jake did not make contact. Okay, so it just seemed like they both had an offing at the same time. Not a big coincidence. So a big coincidence there, only as I maybe speculated if Vintage Grizz and himself had made contact. 1.5 seconds the gap coming into the end of Sector 2 between the Haas and Red Bull. Could this mean Luke has an easy win? Could he make a mistake, allow racing up to inside that 1 second? The way Luke has been performing, I don't think it will be. Will this be a cruising home though? Very much from it. He's going to be under pressure for the remaining 6 laps, sorry, of the race. Racing up to maybe under a bit of pressure of Boscohan, who's just fallen outside that 1 second of fastest lap for PAFR Luke. 1:18.5 in the front there. DRS enabled confirmed. What can Kilmore do? DRS not enabled as the not on down the straight as the detection zone was on the lap earlier. They'll have to wait outside on the exit of turn 9. Happy Kilmore just sat 6/10 behind Gohan there, and we've got PFR Aaron P5 almost out of a second from Happy Kilmore. And then Vertex and Lee P6 and P7, Fletch P8, DTS Kwan after being that one of those people to pit on lap 1, stretching those medium compound tyres so far, almost 10 laps. And then Street Isaac, who's got a penalty with Havina right behind him in 10 and 11. Then we're looking down the rest of the grid. Rishi P16, so he's obviously had an offing. I think he was the one that lost his front wing at the start, as I saw. Changing position between John Fans and Fudge Cake for P14, and again, but Lee gets ahead of Vertex. So I think Vertex maybe tried to make a move, and that's now allowed him to get outside the second, and Vertex goes ahead into P6 down the inside with DRS assisting him. He's now on a charge. Can he catch Aaron? 5 laps remaining. Anything can happen. A short downshift there. I don't think that was on purpose. With Happy Kilmore fighting for the edge of P3. What can he and Gohan do? There's a crash in Sector 1. Vintage is now out on the exit of turn 4. There will be no safety car, and there is a safety car actually. Words have been put into my own mouth. I didn't think there would be, but as two offings at the same time, as there was Fudge Cake spinning off and Vintage Grizz is now out at the same time, so that probably has caused now a second safety car in this race on lap 13. So not going to be getting racing until about lap 15, even lap 16 at the end of those laps. So there could be 1 or 2 laps remaining in this race. Racing up to right on the back of PFR Luke, and they're going to congest once more. Only 3 laps of racing gone before the next safety car. Now, as they're coming up to the safety car now on the exit of turn 3, having a look at what has what people have done. It seems like Luke has made 1 position, obviously, on racing up to after starting P2 and getting that amazing start. Vertex, the biggest winner out of everyone, P8. I mean, up 8 positions into now P6, so he started that'd be 14. And the biggest loser, who's currently on track, is tied between Fletch, Rishi and Maxi Rubble, losing 3 positions apiece. Vintage Grizz and Chromad both losing 10 and 11 after crashing out. Wait, Luke and Racing Up to have got a penalty. I don't see what happened there. Maybe they made collision. So could this mean Boss Gohan takes the win if it was purposeful from either of them? Gonna wait. Safety car will not be in this lap, so we'll have to wait to the end of lap 15. 2 laps of racing as Maxi Rob far off the pace. He's only coming through turn 3 now. So I'm wondering what happened. I'm going to have a look at the race director. What was it that caused the penalties? It was a collision with each other. It's a 5-second penalty apiece for them. As who was that in the pits? Racing Optus in the pits, so maybe he had front wing damage after collision. He has. That's a front wing change. So he's down in P14, and that means Boss Gohan goes up into P2 behind Luke. So if Luke had brake checked, maybe could that mean racing his penalty stands, and Boss Gohan, could he take the win after not exactly being on pace with the top guys? Gonna have to wait to the end of the race. Only 2 laps remaining, so only about 3 minutes left of this race. Anyone watching can definitely stay to the end to see this fantastic race currently unfold. What can happen? Safety car in this lap, so we'll get 2 laps of racing. DRS will not be enabled. So can Luke hold on sheer pace? Will that penalty stand? So many questions that will be answered. We're going to have a look. Could there be even more controversy on the exit of this of the final corner of this lap? Because we saw Rishi make contact and lose his front wing and demote him down into P14. Luke is there again. Bosco getting very close behind. He's going to make sure he doesn't get jumped by Luke. He's waiting and waiting. What will his reaction times be? Luke goes on the exit. Bosco doesn't lose out too much. Could this mean He's in the slipstream. He's got the ERS wide open. He doesn't actually anymore, but he does still. Maybe. He's flicking it on and off. He doesn't even contest going into turn 1. 3-second penalty for Aaron in P4 for multiple warnings. That's going to drop him well down the order. It's looking even outside the top 10. And there was someone. Did I just see someone spin? No, I didn't. Sorry. Luke leads us from Boss Gohan and Happy Kilmore on lap 16 of 17 here in the Spanish Grand Prix. PFR Aaron P4, but he's got that 3-second penalty. Vertex and Fletch P5 and 6. Lee, Havina, DTS and DTS Kwan and Isaac round off the top 10. We've got Josh Ramsey around. He's not having a great race whatsoever. Boss Gohan actually sticking him with a second on this lap. We've got 2 people wide. That's racing up to and John Fans. Could there have been collision between them? As they're just... I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to switch to the front of the pack for the final lap of the race. What can happen between these two? Boss Gohan and PFR Luke. Happy Kilmore P3. What can he do? Can he maybe make a position on Gohan? Coming through turn 3, final lap. Luke leads 1.4 seconds. And Boss Gohan, Aaron, Vertex, racing up to DAU. I think that's a retirement in the pit lane. So, not a collision there, and further one. Luke coming to the end of Sector 2 now. He's got a 1.6 second lead. How far can this penalty drop him down? Just 3-second penalty for Rishi there. How far can this drop him down? I've got to the leader, so it looks like it's P7. If that penalty stands, unless he can... he has, it's now P6 to Fletch. Can he extend that gap even more as people are just fighting, losing more time? And if that penalty stands, it means Jays will stay top of the championship. Come around the final corner, PFR Luke on track. He wins. 5-second penalty unserved. Boss Gohan promoted to P1. And that is a very good race from the two of them. We'll have to get confirmation of who probably won. And then Happy Kilmore P2 and Vertex P3. Luke is P4, demoted only. Fletch and Lee P5 and 6. Havina P7. Aaron, after getting a 3-second penalty, drops to P8. DTS Kwan and Maxi Rob P9 and 10. So double points for the Ferraris there. Very good result for the two of them both. And we're just waiting for now Jas Ramsey to come across the line. What a race that was for everyone. Boss Gohan or Luke are your winner. One of them are your winners. We're gonna get them into a interview as well as so all top 3 will go into a party. I'm gonna go for the top 3 on I'm gonna go for the top 3 on track as well as Luke. We'll get them in for an interview. So stick around for post-race interviews where we see what is going on through the drivers' heads. At the end of that, I'm going to see if I can get them into a party right now. And we've already got the first of them. It's Vertex Very good race from yours. That's now P3 as it stands. Very good race from you. Pretty much under the radar. You started P14, so you made up quite a lot of positions, 11 there. How are you feeling after that race? Yeah, I can hear you. It's all good. Yeah, it seemed like it. Very good race, and well, what is currently P3? We'll have to wait and obviously see who gets bumped up from penalties taken away. As you said, yeah, that first safety car coming out the proper time. You start on mediums, I believe, starting outside. One of the only three to start on mediums. So just that time, it was like lap 8 or something to push those mediums. Very good from you. Okay, thank you for that, and all the best going into the break, where it'll be round 5 after a week's break in 2 weeks' time. So good luck for that race. You too. So that was Vertex. Next up, we're gonna have is Happy Kilmore, Ryan. If you can unmute yourself. Hey Ryan, how's it going? That is P2 on track at least, so P3 at the very worst after finishing ahead of Aaron. So no matter what happens with him, that will be P3 at the very least. So a podium for you after probably not the best start of the season. So how are you feeling after that one? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seemed like a very good strategy from you. Probably the safety car coming out at a perfect time for most of that top guys. Yeah, so very good to hold on against Aaron, and as you said, just sticking in the DRS of Gohan, it provide for very entertaining racing, where incidents were obviously a main factor of what happened, especially between racing up to and Luke at the top. Do you want to provide any view on that? Because obviously you were pretty much right behind them. Obviously a gap in between. Do you see what happened between them? Yeah, and obviously up to with the front wing damage, which cost him the podium. Thank you, Ryan, for the interview, and best of luck for the rest of the season. Next up, we're going to have Luke. Hi, Luke. How's it going? Obviously P1 on track. Demoted to now P4, so we've got you into an interview just in case that 5-second penalty is removed. First of all, I want to ask what happened with that incident in racing up to that caused both of you getting 5-second penalties and obviously front wing damage.
Yeah, when we were approaching the safety car, obviously the safety car was sort of in a blind spot coming around turn 3. So it caught my eye and I slowed down, and I think Abdul was just a bit too close to me. So when I've hit the brakes when I was approaching the safety car. He's just tagged the back of me, and yeah, so I'd like to say that that 5-second penalty will be removed, but we'll see. I mean, I just slowed down to go behind the safety car, so.
Yeah, obviously we'll have to look at that. But other than that, it was a fantastic race. You seem to have the pace over everyone. That race, obviously your closest rival, obviously getting caught up in that incident. You had a great start against everyone. You seemed to get the launch away very well at the start of the grid. Just take us through your race as a whole.
I don't know. I've just been putting my head down a bit lately. I think I've done a little bit of secret testing at this track the last couple of days, so I find that's the only way to run at the top now. So most of these guys are pretty on it. Yeah, but the I don't know. The race I was pretty happy with up to behind me. Wasn't I sort of was able to break him after the both safety cars, but then he sort of held that gap. So yeah, just being consistent, I think, was the main thing there.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that's well, it could be 2 race wins in a row. Otherwise, still 2 solid results on the trot. If that is a win, that means you will be going to top of the standings into the first of the breaks. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, good. Bit of a turnaround from last season. I joined halfway through last season, so yeah, just been still sort of getting the hang of it, but feels like I'm getting it now. So yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah, thank you, Luke, and best of luck, obviously, to the rest of the season, where we could see you fighting Jays if he makes his return.
Thanks, mate.
Have a good one. And for the last one, Boss Gohan, also known as Brad. How you going, Brad? How you going?
Good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Obviously a very interesting race. That's P1 on track and 15 points to your name as it is right now. What are your opinions on the race? Obviously, the incident, you had probably maybe the best view, as you were the
definitely.
closest.
Yeah, you could just see him make contact, as Luke was saying before. Just a silly mistake and being too close. But yeah, I didn't have the pace to keep up with him, so just stuck it in for third.
So your thoughts, would you say... Oh, sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to see exactly from my angle. Have to see their footage, of course, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, from what you saw, you're saying that was maybe hard to see, but from what you saw, would you say that it would be maybe removed, and are your hopes high to keeping this win?
Oh, I'd probably get it removed, I'd say. Driver in front usually gets the benefit of the doubt in that situation, so I have no doubt that's a P2 for sure.
P2 nonetheless is an extremely good result, and I believe that will boost you into, definitely into the top 5 as the main competitors in front of you scoring no points each. Aaron, maybe even P3 ahead of Aaron there. So very good nonetheless, and very entertaining race here at Spain. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who's joined us for our interview and everyone watching in the live stream. That'll be it for your Division AU. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you for the next one in 2 weeks.